If you're hearing this message right now, it's no accident. There are no coincidences when it comes to divine purpose. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say may change the way you see your entire life. Not everyone will be saved. That's a hard truth to accept. But what about you? Have you ever wondered, am I one of the chosen ones? Maybe you've always felt different, like something about you never quite fit into the world around you. You've faced challenges that seemed almost designed to test you, struggles that others couldn't understand. You've been through moments where you felt like an outcast, misunderstood, or even isolated. But deep down, there was always this whisper in your soul. You were meant for something greater. That feeling? It wasn't just your imagination. It was the voice of something divine calling you toward a higher path. Today, we're going to uncover one of the greatest spiritual mysteries of all time. Why are some people chosen while others are not? Before we dive in, I want you to take a moment and declare your connection with this message. If you feel this truth resonating within you, if something inside you is stirring as you hear these words, type in the comments right now, I am chosen. Because acknowledging it is the first step towards stepping into your destiny. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that your life doesn't seem as easy as other people's? While some seem to move through life effortlessly, achieving what they want without major obstacles, your journey has been different. It's been filled with trials, setbacks, moments of deep questioning. And yet, somehow you always find the strength to keep going. That is not a coincidence. That is the mark of someone who has been set apart. Many think that being chosen by God means living a life of ease, full of blessings and favor. But in reality, those who are truly chosen often face the greatest struggles. Look at the stories. Throughout history, every great leader, every prophet, every person who carried a divine calling had to walk through fire before stepping into their purpose. Moses was rejected by his own people before leading them to freedom. Joseph was betrayed and thrown into a pit before he became a ruler. David was hunted before he became king. Even Jesus himself faced persecution, suffering, and rejection before fulfilling his ultimate mission. So why would your journey be any different? You see, those who are chosen are not chosen for comfort. They are chosen for transformation. And transformation is never easy. It requires you to go through seasons of pain, uncertainty, and trials that most people will never experience. But here's what sets the chosen ones apart. They don't give up. No matter how many times they fall, no matter how heavy the burden, something inside them refuses to quit. That's because the fire inside them is greater than the fire around them. Think back to the hardest moments of your life. The times when you felt lost, abandoned, or like nothing was ever going to change. But somehow you made it through. Something kept you moving forward when everything in you wanted to stop. That was not by accident. That was because God's hand was on you, even when you couldn't see it. But here's the question that so many people struggle with. How do I know for sure that I am chosen? It's not about what church you go to. It's not about how perfect you've been. It's not about whether you've followed every rule flawlessly, because let's be real, none of us have. It's deeper than that. The true mark of someone who is chosen is this. They feel the call, even when they don't fully understand it. Maybe you've felt it your whole life, that feeling that you were meant for more, that you were created for a bigger purpose, even if you don't know exactly what it is yet. Maybe you've always felt drawn to something greater, even when the world tried to pull you in the opposite direction. That pull, that unshakable sense that there is something more for you, that is the fingerprint of God on your soul. It's the evidence that you have been set apart for something beyond what you can see right now. And let me tell you something important. The enemy knows this too. That's why the attacks on your life have been so strong. That's why you've faced opposition that doesn't make sense. That's why you've been through battles that seem designed to break you. Because when you are chosen, you become a target. But listen to me. What is chosen by God cannot be destroyed by man. No matter what you've been through, no matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how much the enemy has tried to convince you that you're not worthy, if God has chosen you, nothing can change that. And that is why you are here right now, hearing this message. Because your soul recognizes this truth, even if your mind still has doubts. Because deep inside you, there is something waking up. This is your moment. This is your confirmation. This is your call to step fully into what you were meant to be. So if this message has stirred something inside you, don't just sit with it. Act on it. Declare it. Type "I am chosen" in the comments right now and make it known. Let the universe, let heaven, let the forces of light see that you recognize your calling. And as we continue this journey together, we're going to go even deeper into what it truly means to be one of the chosen. Why your struggles are not random. Why your path has been so different. And most importantly, what comes next for you. Because being chosen is not just about knowing. It's about becoming. So stay with me. This is only the beginning. What does it really mean to be chosen? This isn't just a title. It's not a privilege handed out at random. Being chosen is a process, a journey of transformation, refinement, and purpose. Think about gold. Pure gold isn't found shining on the surface of the earth. It's hidden deep within rock, mixed with impurities, covered in layers that must be broken away. And even after it's extracted, it isn't immediately valuable. It must go through fire, extreme heat, intense pressure. Only through this refining process does gold reach its purest, most valuable form. And that, my friend, is exactly what happens to those who are chosen by God. God does not pick people who are already perfect. He picks those who are willing to be refined. And refinement doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in the fire of trials, in the weight of challenges, in the moments when everything seems to be falling apart. Look at Moses, a man who was born under a death sentence, raised in a foreign palace, and then cast into the wilderness. He spent 40 years in isolation before he was called to lead his people out of Egypt. Do you think that was by accident? No, that wilderness was his refining fire. It was there that God stripped away his doubts, his fears, his attachments too, his past, so that when the moment came, he was ready to step into his divine purpose. Look at Joseph. He had dreams of greatness, but before he could rise, he was thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, and falsely imprisoned. For years, he suffered betrayal and injustice. But that suffering was not meaningless. It was preparing him. Because when the time came, he didn't just survive, he thrived. He became the second most powerful man in Egypt, saving an entire nation from famine. Look at Paul. Once a persecutor of believers, he was struck blind and brought to his knees before he could truly see his purpose. And after his transformation, did he live an easy life? No, he was beaten, imprisoned, shipwrecked, yet nothing could stop him. Because he understood that every trial was shaping him into the vessel God needed him to be. Do you see the pattern? Every person who has ever been truly chosen has had to go through the fire. Now, let's talk about you. Have you ever felt like an outsider? Like no matter how hard you tried, you just didn't quite fit in. Maybe you've been misunderstood, rejected, even abandoned by people you thought would stand by you. Maybe your life has been marked by struggles that others don't seem to face. And at times you may have questioned, why me? But I want you to hear this. What you have gone through is not proof that you are forgotten. It is proof that you are chosen. Because God doesn't refine those who have no purpose. He doesn't test those who are not destined for something greater. If your path has been difficult, it's because He is preparing you for something beyond what you can see right now. That the world may not understand you, but that's because you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. And here's the truth that most people never realize: the enemy only attacks what he fears. If your life has been full of opposition, if it seems like you've faced battle after battle, it's not because you're weak. It's because there is a calling on your life that the enemy has been trying to stop since the beginning. But he cannot stop what God has already set in motion. So instead of asking, "Why am I going through this?" start asking, "What is God preparing me for?" Because every great purpose requires preparation. Every warrior must be trained before the battle. Every leader must be shaped before stepping into their role. And every chosen one must be refined before they can fully walk in their calling. If you've been feeling the weight of trials, if you've felt alone in your struggles, I want you to declare this truth today. I am being refined for something greater. Write it in the comments right now. Say it out loud. Let this truth sink into your spirit. I am not being punished, I am being prepared. And as we go deeper, we're going to uncover what this preparation means, how to embrace it, and how to step fully into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. This is your refining fire, but you won't be consumed. You will emerge stronger, purer, and more powerful than ever before. Because you, my friend, are chosen. There's something most people don't understand about being chosen. They think it means a life of ease, of divine favor without struggle. But the truth? The chosen ones are often the ones who suffer the most. If you've ever felt isolated, misunderstood, or like you're walking a path no one else seems to understand, you're not alone. This is part of the journey. Because being chosen means being set apart, and that separation can feel like loneliness. Maybe you've experienced this. Maybe the people you once trusted have walked away. Maybe you've been ridiculed for your beliefs, for your dreams, for the way you see the world differently. Maybe you've questioned why your life has been filled with trials while others seem to move through life effortlessly. But hear me when I say this. What you are going through is not a punishment, it is training. A warrior is not sent into battle unprepared. A leader is not placed in power without first being tested. A diamond does not shine until it has been cut, shaped, and polished. And neither will you. The weight you have carried, the struggles you have endured, the moments when you thought you couldn't take another step, all of it has been shaping you. Think about Job, a man who was described as righteous, faithful, devoted to God. And yet, he lost everything, his family, his wealth, his health. His friends told him he must have done something wrong. His wife told him to give up, but Job held on. Through the darkest valley of his life, he refused to let go of his faith. And in the end, everything he lost was restored and more, not because he was lucky, not because he deserved it, but because he endured the fire and came out refined. The greatest spiritual warriors are not those who have never suffered. They are the ones who have walked through the fire and refused to let it break them. Look at David. Before he was a king, he was a shepherd. Overlooked, considered too young, too weak. And yet, when the time came, he faced Goliath with nothing but faith and a slingshot. He didn't wear the armor of others. He didn't fight the way the world expected. He stepped into battle with the confidence that God had been training him for that moment all along. And you? Every battle you faced has been preparation. Every rejection has been teaching you to stand firm in who you are. Every loss has been making room for something greater. The enemy wants you to believe that your struggles mean you are forgotten. But the truth? Your struggles mean you have already been seen. So the question is not, why is this happening to me? But what is this preparing me for? Because I promise you, there is a purpose for your pain. And when you reach the other side of this storm, you will see that it was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to strengthen you. So hold on, keep going. The fire is not here to consume you, it is here to refine you. Because you, my friend, are not just anyone. You are chosen. If you're hearing this right now, it's not by accident. Nothing in this life happens without a greater purpose. Have you ever wondered if you are one of the chosen ones? Maybe this question has crossed your mind more times than you can count. Maybe, deep down, you've always felt that your life had a deeper meaning, even if you couldn't quite figure out what it was. Have you ever felt like you were being prepared for something? like your journey was different from the people around you. That's not coincidence. That's a calling, but how do you know if you are chosen? There are signs, confirmations, not coincidences, experiences that show you were never meant to be just another person in the crowd. If something inside you is waking up as you listen to these words, it's because your soul already recognizes this truth. And now, it's time for you to recognize the signs that God has placed in your life. The first sign is a constant feeling that you were made for something greater. Since childhood, you've had this deep sense that your life was meant for more. Even when you didn't understand it, that feeling never left you. The second sign is the number of challenges you faced. Nothing in your life has come easy. While others seem to have smooth paths, your journey has been filled with struggles, losses, and moments that almost broke you. But somehow, you always found the strength to keep going. And that's not by accident. God doesn't choose those who can't carry the weight of their mission. He chooses those who can endure and rise. The third sign is that you never quite fit in. No matter how hard you tried, you always felt different. Maybe people judged you, misunderstood you, or tried to force you into a mold that never felt right. But that feeling of not belonging in this world is because you were never meant to. You were made for something beyond it. The fourth sign is your resistance to negative influences. You can see through deception. You recognize when something isn't right, and you refuse to follow the crowd blindly. Your spirit rejects anything that doesn't align with the truth. The fifth sign is a powerful intuition. You can sense things before they happen. You have a deep connection with the unseen, and your spirit constantly tries to guide you. And when you ignore that voice, you feel the consequences. But when you listen, unexpected doors open in your life. The sixth sign is that you experience synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that are too precise to be random. Repeating numbers, vivid dreams, encounters that change your life. These are not just chance. They are messages, confirmations that you are on the right path. The seventh sign is your hunger for spiritual wisdom. You're not satisfied with surface-level answers. You crave truth. You seek understanding beyond what the world offers because your soul knows there is more to discover. The eighth sign is that you have gone through seasons of isolation. God often separates His chosen ones, pulling them away from distractions so they can hear His voice clearly. If you've been through a period where everything went silent, where you felt alone, understand that it wasn't abandonment. It was preparation. The ninth sign is that you've survived things that should have destroyed you. Look back on your life. There were moments where everything seemed lost, but somehow you're still here. That's not luck. That's divine intervention. You are here because your story isn't over yet. The 10th sign is a deep sense of urgency. You feel like time is running out, like you can't keep waiting, like something inside you is pushing you to step forward now. And you know why? Because it is time. If these signs resonate with you, then you already know the truth. You can feel it. You understand that you're not hearing this message by accident, but knowing you are chosen is only the beginning. The next step is aligning yourself with that calling. And to do that, you have to connect with God every single day. Prayer and meditation are not just rituals, they are your spiritual lifeline. You have to seek the right wisdom, fill your mind with truth. Read sacred texts, study, dive deep into knowledge that strengthens your faith. You must guard your energy. Protect yourself from people and environments that drain your light. Your soul is too valuable to be influenced by what does not come from God. You have to pay attention to signs, to synchronicities, to the messages that appear along your path. They are always there. You just have to open your eyes to see them. You have to serve your purpose. A chosen one is never called just for themselves. You are chosen to impact lives, to be a light in a world of darkness. Find ways to serve, to inspire, to uplift. And above all, you have to act. Faith without action is just an idea. The time for waiting is over. The time for hiding is over. The time for denying who you are is over. Now is the time to step forward, to take hold of what God has placed inside you. You already know the truth. Now you need to live it. If this message has stirred something inside you, declare it now. Type in the comments, "I am ready to walk in my calling." Say it out loud, "I am chosen." Because this is not just a phrase, it's a commitment to your destiny. And remember, being chosen is not just about knowing, it's about becoming. And the time to become who God destined you to be is now. If you've made it this far, if something inside you has been stirring as you listen to these words, then you already know the truth. You are not here by accident. You are not hearing this message by coincidence. You have been set apart, chosen, called for something greater. But let me make this clear: being chosen is not about privilege. It's about responsibility. To be chosen is not to be given an easy path. It is to be entrusted with a mission that requires strength, faith, and unwavering commitment. It means walking a path that not everyone will understand. It means facing trials that will test you, battles that will shape you, and moments that will force you to decide: will you step fully into your calling, or will you shrink back in fear? You were not chosen to live in fear. You were not chosen to play small. You were chosen to rise, to stand firm, to walk in the power that God has placed within you. And when you fully embrace that calling, something incredible happens. The struggles that once seemed unbearable begin to make sense. The pain that once felt pointless transforms into wisdom. The trials that once tried to break you become the very foundation of your strength. And suddenly, you stop questioning why things happened the way they did. Instead, you start seeing how every piece was preparing you for this moment. Because the moment you surrender to your calling, the moment you stop resisting and step forward in faith, doors begin to open. Connections are made. Opportunities appear. And you realize that everything, every hardship, every challenge, every tear was shaping you for something beyond what you could have ever imagined. There is power inside of you that has yet to be fully unlocked. There are gifts within you that the world has not yet seen. There is a purpose that has been waiting for you to say yes. And once you do, there is no limit to what God can do through you. So if you feel this fire inside of you, don't ignore it. Don't push it aside. Don't let fear, doubt, or the opinions of others keep you from stepping into who you were always meant to be. God has something extraordinary in store for your life, something beyond what you can even comprehend. But you must make the choice. You must be willing to take that first step, to trust that you are exactly where you need to be, and to believe that everything you need will be provided along the way. And as you move forward, remember this: you are not alone. There are others just like you, walking the same path, rising up, embracing their purpose. And together, we are a force that cannot be stopped. If this message has touched your heart, if you feel the truth of these words deep in your spirit, then share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Be the confirmation that someone else has been waiting for. Be the light that guides another soul to their own awakening, because the time is now. The calling is real, and the only question left is, will you answer it?